Can someone explain to me why Luis Angel Acuna was pinch running and did not steal a base on Sunday? I'm sorry, there's no explanation that makes sense. I understand that pitcher, Santillan, doesn't allow a lot of stolen bases. I get it. But the reality is this. You weren't hitting all day. Any base you can get, you have to try and take. You get thrown out. You know what? No one's hitting anyway. Who cares? To not steal with Acuna in that ninth inning when he's pinch running for Pete Alonso. And then when Nimmo gets the hit, by the way, he would have potentially scored or at least been at third, after that base hit. And then to not do a double steal with him and Nimmo was nonsensical. Marte's a double play candidate. We've seen it from Marte. We've seen him ground into double plays this year. You set yourself up for a loss there. I mean, I could not fathom what the Mets were thinking. And I get it. You put Acuna in because something in the gap will score him and it won't score Alonso. But the reality is this. Your offense did zilch nothing all day. You had one run, the Beatty homer. Then you have Soto homer the ninth. You have some life. And then that? I mean, it's just inexcusable from the Mets in that spot. I mean, you had the rally in your hands. I'm sorry. And maybe, was Acuna not doing it? Maybe he had the green light. I'm not really sure. I don't think anyone asked after the game. But in that spot, you have to be running. And it should have been second and third, one out. If Marte grounds out there, fine. You still live to see another batter. Or maybe that ball gets by. Or maybe there's a different pitch. Or maybe everything changes. But to not be aggressive there, and the Mets have done a lot of this year. They had like a little patch. They were aggressive. And then yesterday they go away from it. And I would rather Acuna be thrown out at second and there be two outs, nobody on. I know that might sound crazy, but I'd rather you go for it with your fastest base runner. He's only been thrown out once this season. Nonsensical. And, obviously the reality is they need to score more. They didn't do much, but Green's good. Green shut him down. And Brandon Sproat got a W. The rest of the Mets didn't. Sproat, 3 hits, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts. He had some command issues, 3 walks, but I think he looked ready for the big leagues. I thought he looked really comfortable out there. Obviously a few things didn't go his way, but the guy had a no-hitter going to the 6th. It was 1-1 going to the 6th, and, he set the Mets up for victory. Jonah Tong Saturday, not as much, gave up 3 homers. I thought other than those 3 pitches, he was good, but the reality is he gave up 4 runs. And the Mets offense, again, could not get the job done. And again, Sunday, Carlos Mendoza getting Ryan Stanek happy. That's his thing now, Stanek happy. Or Saturday, I should say, getting Stanek happy. Enough of Stanek. He does good one day, does bad the next. Saturday, he implodes again. I mean, what'd you expect? You got a great outing from his Friday. I mean, the Mets won one of the games, and they won it by the skin of their teeth with Edwin Diaz on Friday. I mean, that was a pure sweat job. And then Sunday, no offense, Saturday, no offense. And all of a sudden, folks, this wild card race, as you go into Philly, is getting very, very tight. I'm Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Live. Scan that code right there, become a Mets Daily Insider. Troy and Shakamoto cannot take the ticket, so we're going to go to the next person in line for the Mets Daily Insider ticket giveaway for it. And listen, I know I probably didn't do this well enough. I could have got worse seats for one of the night games. I figured want the better seats, but I get it. It's a weekday, Thursday, September 18th. A lot of people can't get off work. So the next person we're going to try to give them to is Matt Camper. So Matt Camper, if you're watching this, Matt Camper, you win the tickets for Thursday, September 18th. If not, we'll go down the line again. We got a couple more. So pretty amazing that we can't find someone to take free tickets. If not, I'll just do a giveaway on Twitter. And I'm Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Live. Smash the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to Mets Daily below. We're getting you through the whole ride here, through the playoffs and through everything. And the playoffs get intriguing. You see the wild card race here now. The Mets, 4 up on the Reds, 4 up on the Giants. There's 2 more teams that should be in the graphic. 4.5 up on the Diamondbacks and 4.5 up on the Cardinals. Both teams, there's 4 teams that are in it. And here's why they're in it, because this is a tough week for the Mets. Mets, Phillies, I'll be there tonight. Mets, Phillies, 4 games in Philadelphia, 6:45, 6:45, 6:45, and 7:15 this week. 4 night games, McLean versus Nola tonight. And this is a playoff preview. I mean, there is a chance the Mets will play the Phillies. If the Dodgers get it going here, and the Dodgers could pass the Phillies in the top 3, and the Mets end up 6, it would be Mets-Phillies first round. Right now, it'd be Mets-Dodgers, and I'm sure every Met fan would much rather face the Phillies than the Dodgers. So buckle up, enjoy the ride. This is a massive week. Guys, if the Mets sweep, they get within 3 of the NL East. If the Mets get swept, they are out of the NL East. They would be 11 games back. If the Mets win 3 out of 4, they're 5 back and somewhat alive. If the Mets lose 3 out of 4, they would be 9 games back. So it's either 11, 9. If they split, it's 7, 5, 3. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Those are all the different combinations how this series goes. And, I think it's important just for the Mets to play good baseball. I don't expect them to sweep, but I think it'd be a good sign if they could go in a Philly and win 3 out of 4. Because, listen, you're going to have to win 3. You're going to have to win 2 out of 3 in Philly in the playoffs. If it's Mets-Phillies in that wild card, you're going to have to win 2 out of 3. Now, right now, again, they wouldn't play the Phillies. So, big series ahead. You got Nolan McLean. You're confident with Nolan McLean on the hill tonight. But you got to score again. What happened to this offense? Let's see if they can get it going again. Tomorrow, it's Manaea versus Suarez. Manaea has been dreadful and has not been going deep in the game. So, you're going to need bullpen tomorrow. You'll need bullpen Wednesday for Clay Holmes versus Sanchez. And then on Thursday, it'll be Peterson versus TBD. Before Jacob deGrom pitches at Citi Field on Friday, the return of deGrom, it should be deGrom versus, it looks like, Jonah Tong on Friday. How about that? Tong versus deGrom. Yeah, it's worth the price of admission. Then Old Timers Day Saturday. So big week here for the Mets. Tough schedule ahead, but Phillies are going to be a tough opponent. Again, let us know in the comments your predictions. Follow me at Jake Brown Live. Subscribe to my YouTube at Jake Brown Live. The Jets, they lost. The Mets, they lost. The Giants, they lost. A terrible day for New York sports. Unless you're a Yankee fan and you don't like the New York football teams, you probably had a pretty bad day on Sunday. It was great to have football back. It was great to see the Jets competitive. But the reality is a loss is a loss is a loss is a loss. And there's no moral victories in any sport. And the Jets still lost to Aaron Rodgers. Well, the Mets will get some reinforcements soon. Let's start with Cedric Mullins, though. He has just been dreadful, and he's been costing them defensively. And I get it. Bader is doing much better. The reality is no Met fan said, hey, I'd rather have Bader than Mullins. And if you did, congrats. I'll give you a cookie. But the reality is Harrison Bader lost his job to Tyrone Taylor last year at the end of last season. He wasn't a starting center fielder anymore. He was a bench player. So why were the Mets just going to get him back? And they probably knew things behind the scenes. Maybe they didn't want him in that clubhouse. I don't know. I'm not saying he's bad in the clubhouse, but there's more reasons, I would imagine. And you got to factor lefty versus righty. Mullins being a left-hand hitter. Bader and Taylor are both righties. Mets wanted some combination of another left-hand hitter. And Cedric Mullins is a good player, but listen, he's been dreadful. He's not hitting the ball. He's not hitting the long ball. When he gets on, he's been good stealing a base here and there. His defense, he made that one diving catch, but otherwise he has no arm. He's obviously not going to be back. The Mets will not even consider re-signing Cedric Mullins. And I hate to knock the guy because it's only been a month, but, man, he has not helped this team in the slightest. And they're in a tough position because Tyrone Taylor's on the IL. Now, the reinforcement you're going to get back, which could affect playing time of Cedric Mullins, is Jose Siri, who continues to rehab. I think there is a chance we see Siri Friday at Citi Field against the Rangers, maybe even in Philly on Thursday. I think by the end of this week, I think Siri's going to have enough games in the minors and rehab where they're going to say, you know what, he's ready to go. So I would look for Siri to just return home on Friday. And I'm sorry, I think you got to play him over Mullins at this point because at least he provides much better defense. He's a great clubhouse guy. He's great on the bases. To me, I would rather see Siri than Mullins at this point. And the issue with Siri is he strikes out a lot. He's a boomer bust hitter. He obviously started the year was terrible, but it was 20 at-bats. I don't want to look at a 1 for 20 sample size, but in the minors, he hasn't been hitting much, so his eye has not been there this year. So he's probably going to be a bench player, but I'd rather see him start a couple times a week over Mullins. And I think you will against left-hand pitching. You might see Siri get a couple starts, and I think rightfully so, because why not? Mullins has just been terrible. Tyler McGill, he's on his way too, but again, McGill struggling in AAA. Another rough outing the other day, and I don't know what they're going to do here. Do they trust him, despite struggles in AAA, to come up and do well? I'm not sure. I think McGill at this point is probably a 1 or 2 inning reliever. I don't think they're going to trust him with a start. We've mentioned him as a piggyback guy, but how much faith do they have in McGill? He's been very spotty in AAA. So McGill, any day, I think, could be back. I think he's ready health-wise, but I don't know if the Mets trust him to get him up. Again, the season is over in less than 2 weeks in AAA. So I think you're going to see both these guys here sometime by the end of this week. Siri coming back, McGill coming back, and Mullins probably getting less starts as we await Tyrone Taylor to see if he comes back. Because at this point, I think if you're a Met fan, you wouldn't mind it being McNeil and Siri in center with Mullins maybe playing 2 times a week. He just hasn't helped you enough. I'm Jake Brown at Jake Brown Live. We'll see you at Citizens Bank Park tonight. Mets just 9 games over 500. The wild card lead is down at 4. The Reds are back in it. The Giants are in it, the Diamondbacks are in it, Cardinals are in it, and the Giants play the Diamondbacks this week. So they might beat up each other. So the Mets, first matter of business, take care of business in the city of brotherly love. Thanks for watching Mets Daily. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, comment, and follow me at Jake Brown Live. And we'll see you tomorrow. Let's go, Mets.